Hello, and welcome to Chabot News for October 24th, 2024. My name is Cole Wagner, and today we'll be covering National Chocolate Cupcake Day, the new library's ribbon cutting, and burglars with a sweet tooth. In entertainment news, India Richardson will tell you about this year's SAG-AFTRA Life Achievement Award. And finally, in sports news, Evan Neto has the latest on former NFL quarterback Jay Cutler's arrest. All that and more coming up in today's edition of Chabot News. This week, Texas plans to execute Robert Roberson. A judge rejected two efforts to halt the execution scheduled for Thursday. Roberson was convicted of murdering his 2-year-old daughter more than 2 decades ago. But his attorneys say Roberson is innocent. They also say he would be the first person in the U.S. executed on a shaken baby syndrome-based conviction. The shaken baby syndrome diagnosis is under increasing legal scrutiny. Roberson's advocates contend his daughter, Nikki Curtis, died of double pneumonia that progressed to sepsis. They say her illness was made worse by a combination of medicines now seen as unsuitable for children. When Roberson took Nikki to the hospital, doctors and nurses immediately diagnosed her with suspected abuse based on bruises and injuries to her head. Roberson's lawyers also say his unusual demeanor, which made police suspicious, was a manifestation of his autism, which went undiagnosed until 2018. Feelings of loneliness have improved since the COVID-19 pandemic, but a significant number of people still struggle with it. That's according to a recent Gallup survey of more than 6,000 U.S. adults. The survey found 20% of people, that's about 1 in 5, experience loneliness on a daily basis. It's a slight uptick from the beginning of the year, but the current rate still remains lower than the 25% highs measured during the pandemic. The survey found a link between loneliness and the way people feel about their current life. Those experiencing daily loneliness were nearly 5 times more likely to rate their current life poorly. The data showed people who like what they do, have positive family and friends, and feel productive every day were less likely to experience loneliness. We sent our reporter, Julian Saldate, out onto campus to ask Chabot students for some tips and tricks on how to overcome loneliness.
I think before you start to expose yourself to others, you need to get more comfortable being with yourself. Because if you try to hang out with people in order to overcome that loneliness you feel inside, I personally feel like that's not going to ever fill the void completely. So I would say do things that you like, get comfortable with yourself first, and then once you learn more about yourself and what really touches you, try to find people who reinforce that for you, people who share your values, and I think you'll start to find your community little by little.
For those adults dealing with loneliness, I think I suggest that you should go to church, build a relationship with God, and He takes all your worries away, and let Him be in your life, and you'll find peace.
I personally believe that people should prioritize kinship, family, and then direct relationships like neighbors and community members, whether it's a faith community or work community. Definitely try your best to be courteous, be patient, and understand people, and always accept and embrace different cultures, different faiths, and different communities.
When you have like the right people around you, but like maybe a lot of people don't have that. So something that I also used to cope was like, I don't know, just keeping like healthy patterns in my life. Like I like having hobbies. I like going to the gym because it makes me feel productive. You know, like I come to Chabot so I can feel like I'm doing something as well. So yeah, just feeling productive, feeling good about yourself as well, like knowing that like no matter what, like you're doing great, you know what I mean?
I really think it's about like getting out. It's important because it can be daunting, but you don't have to go to like clubs, you know, like you can, like there are groups for like common interest. So like, find a hobby that you like and try to, you know, connect with people that have those same hobbies. That's how you kind of make friends that you can actually like feel comfortable hanging out with and connecting, I'd say.
Yeah, and I know there's like classes you could take for like interests where you could like associate with people who have similar interests as you.
Thanks, Julian. And remember, Chabot College has plenty of resources to help you overcome loneliness. A community in Arizona saw a way to help law enforcement, and they took action. Valley Lutheran High students created a special space to keep police officers comfortable while patrolling year-round. The summer heat wave was brutal, and they wanted to help those officers stay cool. A parent noticed police officers often looked for shade at the intersection near their school while on patrol. So the school created a designated shaded parking space on campus to say thank you to the officers. And now we're going to Evan Netto for this week's look at sports news.
The University of Virginia men's basketball head coach Tony Bennett is retiring from the university. In the offseason, Bennett and UVA agreed to a contract extension until 2030. The school's announcement did not give a reason for his sudden retirement. As a three-time National Coach of the Year, Bennett helped the men's program to their first NCAA National Championship in 2019. During his 15 years as the head coach, Virginia won 2 ACC tournament titles and 6 ACC regular season championships. The announcement comes 3 weeks before UVA's season opener. Remember, kids, don't drink and drive. Former NFL quarterback Jay Cutler was taken into custody for allegedly driving under the influence. The arrest came after authorities in Franklin, Tennessee responded to a car accident on October 17th. Police said the 41-year-old refused to take a sobriety test and that Cutler originally denied consuming alcohol, but later admitted to having something to drink. Cutler is facing several charges, including DUI and possession of a handgun while under the influence. The Chabot Gladiators faced off against San Jose City College's Jaguars over the weekend. Chabot fell to the Jaguars with a final score of 34-22. It was a hard-fought game, but San Jose outscored the Gladiators 21-0 at the end of the first half, and the Gladiators just could not catch up. Chabot's offense came alive in the third quarter. Defensive back Kwame Frenchwood scored first for Chabot with a massive 98-yard extra point return. D-back Landis Green also scored in a 70-yard kickoff return. Quarterback Harris Necrowish passed to wide receiver Malachi Matthews for 2 touchdowns in the third quarter as well. However, the Jaguars were able to hold on to their lead due to some offensive miscues by the Gladiators, including 2 untimely interceptions and a fumbled extra point attempt. With this loss, the Gladiators moved their season record to 3-3. They look forward to a conference game against the Los Medanos College Mustangs on Saturday, October 26th. That's all for this week's look at sports news. Now back to you, Cole.
Thanks, Evan. Recently on Thursday, October 17th, 2024, the California Shakeout Drill was performed. It just happened to be on the 35th anniversary of one of the most memorable earthquakes in history, the Loma Prieta. Chabot College was one of many institutions that participated in the statewide drill. Officials said more than 10 million residents signed up to participate in the drill statewide. Although these types of drills might feel like an inconvenience, and also bothersome while classes need to be in progress and household chores need to be done, the drill was the way to prepare and show that you never know when the next big tremor will hit. So, be prepared. A candy shop in Oakland was burglarized by suspects with a sweet tooth. See's Candy in Oakland's Rockridge neighborhood was burglarized October 19th around 6:45 a.m., police said. Officers arrived at the candy shop in the 5800 block of the College Avenue and found evidence of burglary and said items were stolen. An employee initially said that the stolen items were pieces of candy. Store representatives did not respond for additional comments. It's unclear if any money was stolen. Police said that multiple suspects entered See's Candy through a shattered window before escaping in a car. No arrests have been made. Police are investigating and ask witnesses to contact the Oakland Police Department burglary section at 510-238-3951. Photos and videos can be sent to cidvideos@oaklandca.gov. Our reporter Jasmine Bester went around campus to ask people about their thoughts about their favorite candy from See's, as well as the burglary that transpired. Take it away, Jasmine.
I've been to See's Candy, and I think I really liked the coffee lollipops. It's my favorite.
See's Candy, my favorite item would be the birthday cake, the white birthday cake.
I'm more like the nuts in it, and it's National Nut Day today, so I'm gonna have to go with the nuts and the chocolates.
I have a friend that comes visiting me twice a year from back east, and she always comes and goes to the See's Candy store in Castro Valley, and then brings me back a little box.
I've never been to See's Candy before. I had never heard of it, actually.
Sugar-free. They have good sugar-free chocolate.
Yes, I heard of the See's Candy burglary, and it's very sad that someone just stole that stuff, you know? It sucks, and I love See's Candy, by the way.
Honestly, I feel like it's disappointing to hear that because it's a candy store. It's like there's no reason for someone to be like damaging the property.
Yeah, I think that's terrible for that to happen.
horrible. I think that any business that gets burglarized is bad because it raises prices.
It's terrible. Honestly, I've been to Plenty Seeds Candy and I enjoy their candy sometimes, especially their little lollipops, their toffee and coffee.
I think that's pretty bad, I think any of the stores that get burglarized is pretty bad, because the merchants try really hard to keep up a good business, and when that happens, that's pretty bad, yeah.
I think it's very disappointing that it got burglarized. There's such a very nice staff there, so very, very disappointing.
Thanks, Jasmine. See's Candy is an addition to the multitude of businesses being burglarized. Police are still currently investigating. Now it's time for entertainment news with India Richardson.
Minnie Mouse has a new gig. She's finally been invited to the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. The beloved Disney character will get her own 60-foot balloon, joining Mickey, who's been a parade participant since 1934, as well as Pluto, Donald Duck, and Goofy. Macy's says it's been a long-held dream to bring Minnie's character to life, and it's the perfect time with both the parade and Minnie approaching centennial status. The Macy's Parade debuted in 1924. Minnie's character came to life a few years later in 1928. The Thanksgiving Parade will be held on November 28th in New York City. Jane Fonda will be honored with this year's SAG-AFTRA Life Achievement Award. On Thursday, the Screen Actors Guild announced the Oscar-winning actress and activist was chosen for both her career and humanitarian accomplishments. Throughout her 6-decade-long career, the 86-year-old has starred in films like 9 to 5 and On the Golden Pond. She took a brief hiatus from acting following the 1990s Stanley and Iris, and returned in 2005 with Monster in Law. More recently, she starred in The Newsroom and Grace and Frankie. SAG-AFTRA President Fran Drescher says Fonda is being honored not only for her artistic brilliance, but for the profound legacy of activism and empowerment she has created. The 31st Annual Screen Actors Guild Awards will take place on February 23rd. That's all for this week's look at entertainment news. Now back to you, Cole.
Last Thursday, October 17th, Chabot College hosted a ribbon-cutting ceremony for the grand opening of the new library. There were a lot of people there to witness this moment, including our reporter Jasmine Bester, who was there to film this special occasion. Jasmine, show us more.
The ribbon-cutting ceremony was a nice way to honor the new library. The event was hosted by none other than the president of Chabot College, Dr. Jamal A. Cooks.
This might be one of the biggest single events that we've had here at Chabot in the history of Chabot College. We have community members, we have politicians, we have educators, business people from all over the Bay Area that are coming here to celebrate today with us at this ribbon cutting ceremony.
The ceremony proceeded with the land acknowledgement on behalf of the Muwekma Ohlone tribe.
Muwekma, our people have been able to maintain our identity and traditions and keep our culture and Maknono, our language, alive.
Pedro Reynoso and Rachel Tupper Eoff, 2 employees in the new library, were both given special recognition for their involvement with the new building. HMC architects, Group 4, and engineers were in attendance to receive acknowledgement for their hard work and dedication in this project.
It's been a long couple of years. It's a great building, and I hope everybody enjoys every minute of it.
It's good for studying. You need time to unwind. It serves its purpose.
Light refreshments, infused water, and lemonade were served at the end of the ceremony. I'm Jasmine Bester, reporting for Chabot TV.
Thanks, Jasmine. The ribbon-cutting ceremony was just one of many events to bring staff and students together. Once the ceremony ended, there were guided tours for those who still haven't seen the new building, and in the spring of 2025, there will be a naming ceremony for the new library. Recently, on the 17th of October, Hayward police arrested a suspect who had murdered a young man back in July. Daniel Ramos, who is 46 years of age, took the life of 19-year-old Angel Enciso. Ramos shot and killed Enciso after their cars had collided near the 27,000 block of Havana Avenue in Hayward. Enciso was taken to the hospital and later died due to the shooting. Hayward PD recovered several firearms and booked them as evidence after a search warrant was issued at Ramos's residence. It was unclear whether the weapons were used in the shooting of Enciso, police stated. They do ask if you have any pertinent information toward the homicide to call Detective Green at 510-293-7176. Now get ready for this week's edition of Top 5 with Joshua Hernandez.
Thank you, Cole. My name is Joshua Hernandez, and I will give you this week's Top 5. The subject, Charlie Chaplin. For number 5, A Dog's Life. A lonely dog and a master at home and around the town trying to find hobbies when the dog starts to dig up a wallet that some criminals hid and will change its master's life from then on. For number 4, The Circus. The tramp, a wrongfully accused criminal on the run, runs right into a circus humoring the people of the crowd, leading to the ringmaster wanting to hire the tramp to be a part of the act, creating a ruckus inside the circus, and falling for a woman inside the circus act. For number 3, The Gold Rush. The tramp heads on to join an ongoing gold rush. He gets stuck in a cabin with a successful prospector and a runaway fugitive sharing close quarters with each other and getting into a number of antics, including a bear. For number 2, City Lights. A helpless but resilient tramp meets a blind woman and is trying his best efforts to help her and her grandmother from eviction. The tramp gets odd jobs, usually ending in bad results. He then helps save a rich man's life, and in doing so, the rich man helps the tramp, resulting in helping the blind woman and grandmother from said eviction. And at the number 1 spot, Modern Times. The tramp works at a state-of-the-art factory where the overwhelming machinery gets the tramp into a heap of trouble. For various reasons, he gets sent to jail. And inside, gets into various stunts, meets an orphan woman, both together trying to live in the troubles of modern time, ending with the tramp getting a job as a waiter and living happily ever after. All right, that's all for this week's Top 5 News. I'm Joshua. Now back to you, Cole.
Thanks, Joshua. Get your frosting fix. Friday, October 18th was National Chocolate Cupcake Day. Fun fact, the cupcake was originally known as the 1, 2, 3, 4 cake as a simple way to remember the basic recipe. 1 cup of butter, 2 cups of sugar, 3 cups of flour, and 4 eggs. In the 19th century, most cupcakes were either vanilla or chocolate. The small cakes have since evolved, and you can get just about any flavor of cupcake now. We celebrated chocolate on the 18th, but you can switch to vanilla on November 10th for National Vanilla Cupcake Day, and other flavors on December 15th for National Cupcake Day. That's all for Chabot News this week. Thanks to all the students and staff in the Mass Communications Department here at Chabot College for making this production possible. You can watch us anytime online at youtube.com/ChabotTV. Stay tuned to KCTH Channel 27 on Comcast for more Chabot TV.